Hi, it's just Paulie here. So remembering Traveller days, I love Traveller. Just it was our go-to system for decades, and a system that was adapted to all sorts of things the designers probably never thought of. We played, fancy games, post-apocalypse games, but Traveller became kind of often our word for essentially a homebrew game that one of us had made, where someone had a great idea for a world to explore or for a strange science fiction scenario. So some great games played. But my friend Damien and I were very much involved with a lot of the play testing on some of the early Traveller material, like the Starship design systems and Trillion Credit Squadron, which was a campaign system that was put out using the Starship design rules from the more advanced books. And there were quite large international games that were then played sort of as a playtest of these things. And we were the Australians. I think it was someone else in Canberra, but Damien and I shared a little empire together, which we would get together and just have so much fun with. So there was an ongoing kind of character that had cropped up in a couple of games, really just as cartoons that a friend had drawn, but it was a mantis, a sort of an intelligent mantoid alien. But it was done in a Traveller campaign as a way of providing ships, second-hand ships for someone to buy. It was Honest Herzog's used shipyard. And this guy drew these wonderful pictures, always this mantis, in a little bubble. Hey, here's a real deal only, whatever. And they were ships that had been made for a purpose which, the purpose had sort of vanished, but the ship, not entirely what a group of adventurers, but we're looking for someone just stupid. So, like, literally things designed for collecting orbital garbage, things designed for transporting highly radioactive cargoes, a or an incredibly glamorous space yacht, done in like an amazing style, but you realize it's actually the yacht that was owned by a mafioso, and he's abandoned it because there's so many people with contracts out on him that in the moment the ship is recognized, it'll get fired at, etc. It was hilarious. But we kind of, in one of the games, we set ourselves up essentially just as a play aid. We just sort of said, look, let's just be something that kind of helps the game play, which Mark and everyone else were keen on. So we just said, all right, our empire is going to be essentially Honest Herzog's used shipyard. We are setting ourselves up as traders to the stars. We don't care about military stuff. We don't care about anything. But what we did was we had branches everywhere, because we had these little tiny high-speed FTL boats, so we could get your orders to our central information processing area almost immediately. Now, how this worked was we just knew everything. So while these empires are out there and people are trying to build their tech up and hammering away at each other, we knew who was where. That's all we spent our thing on. We just spent everything on just knowing stuff. So as someone gets to like say they're tech level 9, well, tech level 10 ships actually have a pretty serious advantage over these guys design-wise. Their engines take up less space. They've got sort of a better generation of weapons. They've got a better generation of sensors and so on. But 2 tech levels above, tech 11, that's a quantum jump, and like tech level 12 is just an unspeakable leap. Right, and it goes up to like tech 15, as you know. But as someone in their empire gets a tech jump, so they go from like tech 9 to tech 10, they want to build their tech 9 ships. And the umpires have said, well, you can scrap your tech 9 ones, but I think they said you'll only get something like 33% value because you're just selling them off for scrap. So what Honest Herzog's used shipyards would do would come up to you and say, wait, we'll buy them off you. What? We will buy your amazing Starfleet, not for 33% of face value, my friend. We will buy those things at 40%. Well, that's a way better deal. That's a way better deal. Yes, it is, my friend. It certainly is. In fact, we really like your face. You know what? we'll even give you this one solitary, amazing, tech level 15 Meson beam, simply for signing on with the company. Oh, we'll do it. What we then have, okay, so this guy's sold us his tech level 9 fleet. But we know someone who's tech level 8, or who even doesn't have spaceflight. We then go and we sell these things, and to these guys, this is a quantum leap in technology. It's like, well, look, you've got longer jump drives, you got real weapons. So we're selling them at about 150% of marked value, 200% of marked value, because it's worth that much to these guys to have better ships than their neighbors who are all the same tech level as them. And then you keep an eye. Oh, hang on. Some tech level 11 guys just gone up to tech 12. All right, let's buy the tech 11 fleet. I know a tech level 10 civilization we can approach. And it was hilarious. For some reason, we took great joy in just being these traders, swapping these things back and forth. And it also meant that the umpires running the whole thing could come to us with special, requests and messages. Hey, these guys aren't doing too well over here. We want this campaign to keep going, for testing reasons. And there was just like, these guys ganged up on him. Can you guys go and help? It's like, oh, sure. Look, what is he? Oh, look, we can give him a loan because we've got this, obviously, an atomic buttload. I think our economy was bigger than the rest of the galaxy because we just didn't spend it. We just amassed it, but we gave people loans if they were flagging, and it kept the campaign going. You had to pay the loans back, and the thing was, we didn't need enforcers because other people break your legs for us because they want to prove they're great customers, so you'll sell them ships again. So that was honest Urzog. So every time I see a green mantis or something, it's always, hey, he's still out there. When we were first testing these new rules or whatever, we had some great moments. So first off, in the first game, they brought in these different types of hull construction, dispersed structure hulls, and yada squeal, these different things. So what I looked in the buffered planetoid. It's actually fairly cheap. It gets you some basic armor, not a bad one. We're quite low tech, I think we're starting out really low, like tech 7 or 8 or whatever. And so I wrote in to say, look, if we spent some extra money, because they've said that planetoid and buffered planetoid ships can't skim for fuel because they're not streamlined. So if I spend some money to sculpt the outside, I'm thinking, what if I just literally laser sculpt these things so that's just an egg shape, so that it's smooth, or and maybe tile it over with some heat resistant tiles or something. Can I have this thing count as partially streamlined so I can skim? Well, Miller and Co. write back and say, you may certainly sculpt planetoid and buffered planetoid ships into any shapes desired, but this will never count under the rules as partially streamlined. But sculpt away. I will. And that's when the nightmare began. Yes, I sculpted those ships, all right. Yes, there was the Venus de Milo cruisers, there was the Mount Rushmore class dreadnoughts. We got the Thinker class escort boats. You name it, we had it. Bust of Napoleon gunships. It was just, and we send in pictures of all these, the Titanic reclining Buddha class carriers. It was just all these horrendous sculptures with engines on the end, which were sent in full illustrations. Here is our mighty fleet. You get an answer back from them and just, the Australian kids are at it again. But I'm really pleased to see, even in modern iterations of Traveller, the scars that we left on them are there. The stuff that they invented because of us, because, we are, let's face it, really intelligent 15, 16-year-old kids who are really good at combing through rules and finding loopholes and coming up with ideas. So we came up with this idea. We asked them, define, tell us, how exactly does your jump drive system work? Oh, well, what happens is this ship, basically, it gets to a outside of the gravitational radius, right, so it doesn't have to be a particular place, anywhere outside of a set gravitational interference. Yep. And then what it does is it calculates its jump, and then it burns all this fuel, stores the power in capacitors, and then it unleashes all the power from the capacitors all at once, and that allows it to bing, make a hole in space and jump, and it's instantaneously in another position. Right, so the jump time is really spent kind of in place going burning this stuff. Yeah. So it doesn't need fuel in order to jump, it just needs to have power in its capacitor in order to jump. What? Well, for instance, could I charge capacitors on ships if I had like a space station and my vessels were tethered to it? Could I charge everyone's capacitors before releasing them? They've got a full load of fuel on them, but they have charged capacitors charged from another source. Oh, there's probably not going to be much power bleed. I've got plenty of vacuum around to insulate my capacitors. I guess. So that means all we need is charge capacitors. So we could have one ship charge capacitors on another. So what? Stay with us, Mark. Quick, meet my eyes, Mark. Follow my lips, Mark. So what if I have a ship, and this ship is basically a giant fuel bladder, and it's got essentially it's got the engines to burn the fuel to generate the power. It's got a giant extension cord that goes across to your actual battleship, and it just charges capacitors in the battleship. Yep, which then jumps. So the jump drive is on the battleship, but the fuel is on the fuel ship. So it's a kick ship. All this thing does is basically charge your battery for you, and then you go. It kicks you on your way. Yes, yeah, I guess so. It couldn't get back again, I know, but we could send these ships, and now these ships are very spry because they're not burdened down with these huge fuel loads. Like these are like really, really spry little ships, and in fact, we can then have the actual kick ship, the fuel ship, can then jump because we recalculate different jump abilities for this based on how much tonnage it's actually pushing. As it's burned more fuel, it's got actually less tonnage to push, so it can jump quite considerable distances. You guys didn't really think of that, did you? Oh yeah, so here's all these ships with now all of their figuring of jump distances and so on done, given how much they're actually carrying. Oh dear. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, right, but if we can do a kick ship, yeah, we could do ships that actually slot into each other. So you've almost got like a ship that essentially has a pilotable second stage. Second stage powers the first stage, which jumps off, and then the first stage can then follow. Fleet-wise, it's a support ship, so it hangs back, but it goes off and it skims and it finds its own fuel. But wait, there's more. So Russian doll ships. What? Yes, Russian doll ships. A progressive chain of kick ships. And that's it. What? Yes, see? Giant fuel bladder ship, which is attached to a giant fuel bladder ship, which is attached to 5 giant fuel bladder ships, which is attached to, a warship. So the one at the back, whee, jumps the chain forward, good, and it then follows. But meanwhile, yay, the whole chain has jumped forward. They calculate their jump, which doesn't actually take that long. But each of these other ships is basically also then jumping, powering the next chain to go forward. So jump. Yeah, 5 or 6 kick ships just kicking more kick ships forward to finally release the battleship on the end. But since you can go like jump 6, followed by jump 6, followed by jump 6, followed by jump 6, you could do this. Yeah, that'd be really expensive. I know, but just think, you could have a ready reaction force in the middle of your empire, which can basically go about, I think we can go about jump 48 with these things. Yeah, guys, we don't quite. We're not sure about that. Well, you said this is how the thing worked. Well, yeah, I guess it is. wait, what if we pre-charged all of those? So we make these Titanic fuel bladders, which are just like in orbit around, we have a little space station there. So yes, we pre-charge all of the kick ships. Stop it. Stop it now. But yes, when you look at some of the Traveller rules that come out, yes, I do see kick ships are in there. Yay, that was us. And every now and then you'll see a tiny rule float past. Buffered planetoids may be sculpted, but we'll never count as partially streamlined. I said, wait, that was me. I did it. Yay. Oh, God, poor old Mark. Oh, God. But yes, the Venus de Milo ships and so on were a true classic. We actually played a serious game of it, and of course, Damien and I were just the ultimate mini-maxes. We're such bastards, again, sodding teenagers. So there were little things like fighters. When you did intense analysis, which we did, tech level 12. This game is set at tech level 12, and there's not going to be any advancement. Tech level 12 it is. We looked at it, and the combination for tech level 12 was fighters. Fighters were really worth the bounce for the ounce. It was just everything had come together at exactly that tech level. They weren't quite as efficient at later techs. They weren't quite as efficient at earlier techs. No one else had realized tech 12. However, fighter is defined as being less than 100 tons. Past 100 tons, it becomes a small vehicle, which didn't get as many bonuses, which is why our fleet was completely filled with immaculately designed 999.99 ton fighters. Literally down to, sorry, we got to throw this packet of cup of soup mix out of the galley on the fighter. Why? Oh, it took us 2 grams over the 100 tons. So out you go. The crew all has to take a piss before they get on board because we just need you to get rid of the extra half kilo weight. Okay. Yep. There we go. Under 100. Off you trot. The way it worked was the fighters could essentially only attack outer systems, so of enemy ships. They couldn't really destroy it, but they could polish them like billiard balls. They could essentially destroy all of the drives, all of the weapons, and all of the sensors, but they can't actually blow the ship up. But so the tactic was you combined carriers carrying swarms of these monstrous fighters. These fighters could just obliterate anything else other people try and bring up as fighters. This isn't like a little... this isn't your Colonial Viper. This thing was this sort of monstrosity. But they're backed up essentially by assault ships with Marines on them, because once their ships are just drifting, they can't repair themselves. They got no weapons, no drives, no nothing. You then essentially just cruised up next to them and you boarded them, and you took these things by boarding, and then, hey, free ship. So we end up with a fleet of vessels that we wouldn't have chosen to build, the actual battleships and all this sort of stuff, which was just... we just captured off people and kind of repaired them and put a new spray paint job and sent them on. Our world was... largely an aquatic world, so we had a very high population of we have a high population of dolphins, so many of our vessels were actually dolphin crewed, which was quite funny. Particularly when someone sort of said, all right, we just want to say that we're sick and tired of you guys blowing up our fleets and everything, so we just want to say there's no reason for us to fight, so we're open to communication. So all channels are open. We really want you guys to talk to us. So we would actually send the guy a cassette tape, because it was that long ago. But it was just full of flipper noises. And then do a big long scroll with a bad English translation of the dolphin, which just mentions many fish. Yes, you and we swim bothly in the same ocean. And yea, although sardines may not be as plentiful as once they were, surely between us we can chase many mackerel into the moors of our... Yeah. People, is this yes to an alliance or what? We did up posters, film posters of like sexy cetaceans posing away, and someone tried boarding one of the ships and just found that just going down these corridors which are like 100% humidity because there's these dolphin marines in little grav suits zooming back and forth down the corridors. Oh god, those are great games. So yes, anyway, those are the scars left upon Traveller by a pair of teenage kids with plentiful math abilities and a great desire to leap in and have fun. Venus to Milo ships, yes.